Hello friends, Shora this side. Welcome to my YouTube channel and thanks for watching this video. And in this today video, we'll discuss about the topic P2P cycle or Procure to Pay process. So let's start. So friends, I'll try to explain you P2P cycle with an practical example. So first is P2P process. So what is P2P process? So procure to pay is the process of obtaining and managing the raw material needed for manufacturing a product or providing a service. Next, flow of P2P process, or we can say P2P cycle. So there are a lot of steps in P2P cycle. So I'll explain you each step with correlate with practical example. So first is material requirement planning. So first is material requirement, or we can say service requirement. So let's take an example. Suppose there is a production department and production department manufacturing finished goods A. So there is a requirement of raw material X, Y and Z to manufacturing finished goods A. So we required 100 quantity of X, 200 quantity of Y and 300 quantity of Z. But what is the availability of raw material in stock? So we checked and found 200 quantity available of X, 300 quantity available of Y and 250 quantity available of Z. So we can see here there is a requirement of 300 quantity, but available quantity in stock is 250. So there is a requirement of procuring the goods, or we can say material Z. So whenever there is a requirement of procuring the material or service within an organization, so P2P cycle is start. So that is the first step of P2P process. So what is next? So next is purchase requisition. So now user department is responsible to raise a PR to purchase department. So in this case, user department will raise a PR for procuring Z material. So what is next? Request for quotation. So now purchase department is responsible. Request for quotation from open market. So suppose purchase department received quotation from three different vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3, or we can say vendor A, vendor B, vendor C. So what is next? Vendor selection. So now purchase department will select the vendor with the consent and discuss with the user department and finance department. So suppose department select the vendor 2 or vendor B. So now there is a question on which criteria, on which basis we can select a vendor. So criteria or basis may be price. B is agreed to deliver the goods in low price, or quality and relation with vendor, etc. So basically that is the criteria, like price, quality and relation with vendor. What is next? Purchase order. Okay. So after selection of vendor B, we issue a purchase order to B. What is next? Goods receipt. So when we issue the purchase order to B, then vendor B deliver the goods. So we receive the goods at factory or at our company, we can say. What is next? invoice verification in process. So now finance department is responsible to verify the invoice. So when we receive the invoice from vendor, so finance department need to check that invoice is as per the purchase order or not. So finance department will check per price and the taxation terms and discount terms and the LD terms, late delivery charges. So whatever terms in mentioned in purchase order, so finance department here need to check all these terms, whether this invoice is as per the PO term or not. Or next is payment to vendor. So now as per the payment term, finance department will release the payment. So friends, that is a basically complete P2P cycle. So P2P cycle is start from the requirement. Whenever there is a requirement of material and service within an organization, next is user department will raise a PR and send it to purchase department. Then purchase department requests for quotation from open market, and after receiving the quotation from different vendors, department will select the vendor. After selection, or on which basis vendor selection? So criteria may be like price, quality, relation. So after selection the vendor, department will issue purchase order to vendor. Then we receive the goods at factory, and then finance department will check invoice and process the invoice. Then on the due date, we will release the payment to vendor. So friends, I hope this video helped you to understand the P2P cycle. So friends, thank you for watching this video.